Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Axumite campaign. My name is Inko, of course, and we have just been attacked in the desert by the remnants of the Persian armies, plural. We are going to retreat because I don't think we have enough men to defeat these guys in the field. We can see that there is another Persian army en route through the Red Sea. Basically, my main issue with Latem II's army is that he doesn't have any cavalry. The Persians have quite a bit of cavalry. We have none. I was going to recruit more swordsmen, more Afar swordsmen, because we plan to capture Pacorus, right? And as we saw last episode, Pacorus is just fucking full to the absolute brim, packed to the fucking gills, with Levy spearmen, right? So swords obviously would defeat spears. Okay, who is Leki Yedelu? I feel like that is Eon's wife, which is probably the saddest thing I've seen all day. Okay, Zafar. There has been a holy vision while walking in the wilderness. A young traveler claims to have seen a vision. It's a good omen, so we get public order bonus, I suppose. And Basa has secured Master of Supplies. Nazul is now Castellan. Great. Okay, let's go look at our army in the west. Okay, so I have named the army Eon's Legacy. Isn't that nice? Because, of course, this is the army that Eon, I don't want to say rode to success, although you could certainly phrase it that way. This is the army that he used to defeat Bahram, mighty Bahram, the Sultan of the Persians. And it appears that there is another army en route, the First Men, but I don't know if we have to worry about them so much because their integrity is at -5. So in 5 turns, if nothing changes really, they will begin rebelling. It seems they have a -2 integrity bonus, penalty rather, from characters, -2 from food, and a negative integrity bonus due to turbulence. We are also dealing with that. A few more turns of that because Eon has died, and now our son Ibana has taken the throne, and he is currently governing in Ethiopia. And I think... do we need to raise our control at all? Not really, I would say. We could gather support, gain some control, and that will push us over into the respectable power, which would increase integrity and loyalty. Well, we don't really need integrity that much. We are losing a little bit of integrity in all of our armies because of turbulence, but that will soon dissipate. Okay, yeah, Leki Yedelu was Eon's wife, and I suppose you know how it goes. Your significant other dies, so you just kind of slowly deteriorate as well. So it's quite sad. Both Ibana's father and mother have passed. Nazul's father and mother has passed as well, although he does not have a wife to console him, so we will seek a wife, because we are desperately going to need some actual sons here. We don't have any legitimate heirs. I mean, Dil, even though he's a bastard, he may be able to inherit if we have a legitimate son, I can't say. But we have a shit ton of influence on Ibana right now. All he's done is governed in Ethiopia. He has not, ridden out into battle like his father. But, I don't know. I don't think there's really much we need to spend our influence on. Everyone is very loyal. We could embezzle funds. That's not really necessary, though. You know what? We'll just leave it at that. And Basa is our Master of Supplies, so now he has a replenishment and upkeep bonus. Wonderful. Latem is an admiral. I think Latem 2, once he gets enough influence, he too should be a Master of Supply. Although I've just noticed that there is a Master of Infantry as well, which would probably be better. Unit experience. Also a Master of Horse, although we don't have any cavalry, and I don't think we can hire any cavalry from anywhere anytime soon. But that's pretty much it for our family tree right now. Let's see. Yes, our army, Eon's Legacy, has withdrawn. Let us retreat to Adulis. I feel as if this army is going to try to sail into the city, and with, what's his nuts, Khosrau, I'm sure like the 4th Khosrau we've seen this campaign. I feel like now that he's come out of his fucking hidey hole and he's seen his shadow, we can foresee that another great long winter is in for us. And when I say winter, I mean a great long series of attacks by the Persians. So I'm going to get some more swords and a few more spears to really counter the cavalry the Persians are bringing. And speaking of cavalry, we ought to look at what we need to do to hire desert raiders. I think this is city. Okay, what we need to look at is the town's military center. Yeah, so you can see that the levy center will allow us to hire desert raiders and Adana trackers, and eventually Tor warriors and Afar camel riders. So what we need to do is research desert military craft in order for us to build that thing. And my word, desert military craft is going to cost us 2,500 ducats, or, you know, gold coins, talents, perhaps. It's never really said what our unit of currency is, but we'll just say it's like talents or whatever. So Gumshoe is on the border, and he is preaching up a storm, and as a result, our public order is skyrocketing. Nazul is some kind of crazy governor. Let's see, what does he have for effects? Public order, +5, +9, so altogether he is increasing public order by 14. Nazul, you son of a gun! You did it again. And then we've got Anbasa, of course, who has a shit ton of authority. I'd completely forgotten that he was such a maniac. He probably does not need an epic poet, I'm going to say. We could give him a heroic German warrior, which would increase his authority even further. Not really necessary. I wonder if we should give him, perhaps, Eastern Turncoats. Sure. He also has a human footstool, which is probably exactly what we want. A reduction in enemy morale. I'm going to say yes. And then we could probably replace his item. I don't really think Cheres is a good item. We will give him Pancratian gloves, just because, you know, experience is always welcome. And speaking of experience, do we want to hire some more units for Anbasa? I don't know. We're going to stay in Zafar for, I'm going to say, another 4 turns until we hit 0 public order. And then we can look at pushing out. Actually, no, I take that back. If we actually look at the public order of Zafar, we can see that instability is one of the largest drains on public order. So that's going to be 10 turns until that is resolved. And if we were to capture Omana in the meantime, that would just reduce our public order even further. Although capturing Omana while public order is in the shitter, it kind of makes sense, because you won't see this huge variance in public order. What I mean is, if we brace and plan for public order to have like a -10 penalty, we can reasonably take care of a -20 as well, as opposed to, you know, going from 0 to -20. If you kind of get my drift. But anyway, we are beginning to collect some cash now because all of our buildings have been repaired. I think it is prudent that we actually focus on Ethiopia right now. So we're going to recruit some more units here in Zafar. We may even just disband some easily replaceable units. We can get rid of 3 desert spears and swordsmen, I would say, just as like a cost-saving measure, because it will be probably a turn or 2 until the Makran or Mazun show up on our doorstep, in which case we can recruit to combat that. But there really is not much else to do. I think we should look into getting some more ships for Latem 1, Latem the First, because, as I said, we would ultimately like to, you know, control the Red Sea, but there's 13 Persian ships sitting in Ayla, so we are going to be outnumbered. And for whatever reason, Latem the First, his replenishment is it's atrocious. I don't know why it's so slow. I could not tell you. It's like 2 men per turn, which is it's going to take like 10 turns to recruit and replenish these guys. But we currently have 3 galleys, 1 artillery Liburnian. Let's get some more galleys. Luckily, recruiting more units actually increases the replenishment rate. We probably, I don't know, we won't be able to match the Persian fleet size for a while. So this seems almost like, you know, it almost seems like a waste, because we're going to have 7 ships. To match 13 ships is a few turns down the line, not to mention the income we're going to have to sacrifice, because these ships aren't cheap. It's 360 talents per turn just for 2 ships. So to increase our fleet to 13, that would be an additional 6 ships. 6 by 36, you know, is like, we're talking like 1,200, 1,400 talents here, which is pretty much our entire income. And that's just to match. If we want to overcome their fleet, we're going to have to pull some cash out of our ass. But having a bigger fleet certainly couldn't hurt, especially when we have these armies being ferried across, because we never know if they're going to land in Berenice or if they're just going to sail down the coast and attack Adulis directly. We don't know. But anyway, there's not much for us to do at the moment. I think what we want to do is just, as I said, focus on Ethiopia, recruit units in Adulis, try to beat back the Persians to Pacorus. If we capture Pacorus, then we can very easily move on to Berenice, which will stem the tide of Persian armies landing, or at the very least, it will force them to redirect down the coast. I don't know. But our secondary goal would be to save up for desert military craft so we can finally build some barracks that will allow us to get cavalry, because we are severely overmatched when it comes to cavalry by the Persians. Anyway, I think we ought to end the turn here. I can't think of anything else we'd like to do, but I feel as if I've forgotten something. I don't know. Here we go. Hopefully everything turns out okay. Well, it appears that Datonis is trying to elope with Menen, and we could not give a shit. Go get married, die in a ditch somewhere, Datonis. I can't, you know what's the funniest thing? I can't remember why we've blacklisted Datonis. I think he betrayed Eon Bissianaf in some event, so I threw him under the fucking bus, but I can't remember. Anyway, Nazul has found a wife by the name of Tauriqua, and she looks quite angry. And, well, it's good, because she's faithful, so you know what? Go buck wild, Nazul. Have a good time. Okay, the Persians, they've marched on Adulis. They've managed to besiege our town yet again. We did manage to recruit all of our units, however. I do kind of want my spy to get involved pretty soon here. So what we're going to do, we might be able to just march out and attack Khosrau directly. I think if we were to attack him, would our reinforcements show up? It's hard to say. Okay, well, we can break the siege here, led by Barris Manass. Break the siege, led by Bear Man Ass. You guys like that? Okay, we'll break the siege. Now we have free reign over our territory. If we were to attack Khosrau, we would in fact receive reinforcements from our garrison, which does have 2 units of cavalry, which is odd. It's odd to me that our garrisons have cavalry, whereas we can't it's weird. Anyway, what we will do is use our, our stores of cash to recruit, research desert military craft so we can build Azadan barracks, levy centers, militia encampments, and military wharfs, and this will be a great boon to us. Speaking of military wharfs, what kind of port do we have in Yudaman? It is definitely a military jetty, which allows us to recruit Liburnian galleys. So I almost wonder if Latem the First, should move into Yudaman, and maybe we can just very quickly destroy these Himyarite separatists, because their fleet is pitiful. Well, they've retreated, so we're not going to bother, but we will move into the port of Yudaman, which has given us a bonus to public order, oddly enough. Okay. Yeah, so we actually have quite a larger range of units to recruit here. We can get Liburnian galleys. Oh shit, it seems that these ships are quite a bit cheaper. Why is that? Dromedarian galley? Dromedarian galley. I don't know. They don't even have the same amount of men. I don't know what's going on here. Is there some sort of bonus to ships recruited in Udaman? You know what? I couldn't say. But anyway, what we can do is recruit some larger ships. Well, they're not so much larger as they are just different, I guess. The troops are very similar as well, so I don't really I don't see what the point in having this Liburnian galley is. It says it would be full of desert heavy corsairs, but it's classified as a light melee ship. The Dromedarian galley is classified as a medium melee ship. What in the fuck is going on here? Then we've got another Dromedarian galley full of Eastern light boatmen, which is actually what we have on our current ships. I think these desert corsairs actually have missile weapons. Yeah, it seems they have javelins or something. I don't know. We can also get some archer armed ships. We may as well do. These are quite a bit cheaper. You know what? I think we might be able to outmatch the Persians if we were to get some intel as to their fleet. I don't know, but we can easily, I think, build a fleet of 15 ships now that we've got a sizable army outside of Adulis and a sizable army in Zafar. We may be able to just focus on our navy, and if we focus on our navy, we will essentially choke the Persians. You know, we would asphyxiate their reinforcements, which would be a great boon to us. That would allow us to, you know, have to put less focus on our land forces, because we wouldn't have to reinforce and replenish so much. You know what? Yeah, I think it would be prudent to build a strong navy, first and foremost. So we'll focus on that. Unfortunately, right now, we don't have enough cash. So what we will do then is attack Khosrau in the field unless he runs away. Well, he hasn't done. Okay, we actually have 2,000 men ready to match his roughly 1,300. I almost wish that we could capture these onagers, because they would be very helpful to me in the future. But anyway, everyone, we'll just take a quick, brief look at our terrain layout. For all I know, it could be a really shitty situation. I don't know, it looks to be... it's not going to be great, but it shouldn't hurt that much either. But anyway, everyone, I'll see you guys on the battlefield. Well, when I said that it wouldn't be that bad, I was 100% wrong, because our battlefield is a big fucking hill. Here's our force, right? And if we go over this hill, trying to make it like a shaky Bourne Identity movie. Look at this fucking camera action. Anyway, here's where here's where the Persians are, on the side of the hill here, right? And our reinforcements have arrived. We've got one unit of spears that need to reinforce, and then also some cavalry, which are going to group up and put over here. Now, what I've begun to do, I think, or what I'm going to begin to do, rather, is kind of set up this like mixed arms line. So I've got all my spears in these block formations. They can set up like a spear line if necessary. They can fan out and create a solid line, but I've also got my swords ready to charge through. Now, I don't know if I highlighted this earlier, but these Afar swordsmen actually scare everyone. So they have a negative morale bonus, or negative morale penalty. I always mix that up for some odd reason. They scare everyone, basically. But what we can do is grab our Desert Raiders, okay, and we'll slowly approach these reinforcements here. We want to take out that onager unit very quickly. They've got a unit of Persian nobles that's going to try to remain behind to help out, I suppose, but we can very easily hide our cavalry here and just wait until they move, and then we'll charge these onagers. As for the Persian force, they've got a lot of missile units, which we weren't able to chase down when Bahram attacked Adulis. They also have quite a lot of cavalry, but it's light cavalry. They've got bowmen and camel warriors, and then of course their nobles, which we can deal with our spears, potentially, or our skirmisher cav. They've got 4 units of spears, desert levy, pagan band rather, and Armenian spears, which are an armored unit. Well, they have 3 units of Armenian band, and then they've got a unit of levy. So that's kind of weird. Like, look how far the Armenians had to come for this battle. Isn't that just like the most tragic thing? We've also got some legionary defectors, which is just fine. We can deal with them with all of our Afar swordsmen. I'm not really too concerned with the infantry of the Persians right now, because we can easily take care of them with our own infantry. So we have matched them as far as infantry goes, but it's just when it comes to the cavalry. Oh shit. We want to hold on to those spears. What a useless spear throw that was. Okay, so we have engaged that catapult with our cavalry. What we want to do, I think, is just kind of move up the hill. If we can get a slight terrain advantage on these guys, that would be ideal. Whoa! That is not at all what I want to do. Okay, so we will try this again. Something like that. And we'll just walk. Actually, no. We'll grab everyone and run. We'll grab our cavalry and ensure that they wipe out this catapult. That's it. We killed every single man. So that's one less onager unit the Persians can bring against us, but it's also one less unit that they have to pay for. So it's, you know, bit of a trade-off. Oh, I dig this track, everyone. This is my jam. Okay, you know what? We're going to speed this up as we chase these camels off the map. Get out of here, you hump-backed bitches. Oh, look, there's a little babby one. Little babby camel, and there they go. They're gone. Now we can... You know what? The AI is very disappointing in this situation. They should have immediately tried to take the high ground, camp the red line. Instead, it is I who have camped the red line. Okay, so we will wait for our line to form. We've lost sight of the enemy. Very frightening. And then we can advance. So... for those of you that have watched my Charlemagne campaign, I recently played a battle where I used the enemy AI missile skirmish behavior against them. So I would charge in with my cavalry just to disrupt the formation of the enemy missile units because they had a missile superiority. And that would allow me to utilize my own missile units even better. So I'm going to try to do something similar. It's going to be tough though. I don't know. They've got horse archers, which really disrupts the whole strategy. They've also got catapults, which disrupts the whole strategy. So instead, I think what we'll have to do is just an all-out assault. If we overwhelm them with our infantry, I'm pretty sure we will carry the day, you know? So we will hold our cavalry in reserve, using them to harass, I'm going to say, the uppermost flank. You know, they're going to charge downhill, whilst our infantry tries to advance. And we want our slingers, I'm going to say, kind of out ahead of the formation. You know, slingers have a very flat trajectory, so they can only sling if they're in front of your army or perhaps on the flank. So they were going to, you know, advance in this formation, and when the enemy perhaps gets too close, I want to move my slingers to the flank, protected by some infantry, some spears, maybe some cavalry if I have the option. It appears though that their catapults are beginning to fire, so we don't have much time now. We have to get into contact. So we're going to charge forward with all of our units here. We'll just speed up time as well. And we want to get into missile contact, I'm going to say. So we'll grab all these guys. Man, because those catapults can very easily tear through my densely packed infantry. So I just want to draw the cavalry away so I can flank around with my oh my god, yeah, they're doing quite a bit of damage there. Okay, so the enemy has begun to move. We want to focus fire on their archers, their horse archers, that is. And we want our cavalry to come around the flank. So they've now begun to expose their catapults, so we can easily take care of that. But we want to melt their horse archers with our own archers, and for some reason we're having some issues there. Slingers and archers ought to do the job. Look at that, they've already lost a huge amount of men. They're about halfway down. Oh shit, we are losing a lot of infantry though. But we want to advance with our infantry. There we go. We'll leave these 2 spear units in reserve, I would say, something like that. And our cavalry can come around the flank. Here we go. We want the skirmisher cav to advance first to draw away Khosrau. So we'll come around the flank. We will initiate a skirmish mode. Get our desert raiders really up on that hill. Okay, oh shit, we actually broke. We shattered both of their horse archers. That's not bad at all. So we will instead focus on their Armenian spears. We want to put a few dents into them before we initiate. There we go. So right now we've got a bit of an issue with their missile units. They are, you know, just tearing us apart. They have a missile superiority, so we're going to actually charge forward with our infantry because we really do need to deal with these catapults. Well, they're very nearly out of ammunition, so they're not such a big deal anymore. But our desert raiders are going to handle them all the same. Now, so our Afar swords are in position. We've lost a lot of slingers. We've just lost a lot of slingers, actually. That's all it is. So they're going to try to come around the flank. Actually, no. They're going to stay behind our infantry because we don't want to get charged by the enemy cavalry. We're just going to condense their formation and guard the flanks with our spears, who can flank around if necessary. So we've just got spears advancing. We will select all of our desert spears, except for our unit in reserve, of course, and stop them where they are. We'll steady them. And then we will try to encircle all of these advancing spear units, right, with... Okay, so it actually looks like these camel warriors are going to intercept my desert raiders, so we're going to try to prevent that. But we want my swords to advance and encircle these heavy spear units. So we actually are going to have a pretty easy time of this. If we could get those archers as well, that would be ideal. But my spears basically are going to form like a line to fall back to if necessary. We are actually going to advance a little bit just to prevent these nobles coming around the flank. We're going to have to deal with Khosrau, who is going to flank. Oh shit, we're actually going to have a bit of an issue. How do we reinforce our cavalry and attack Khosrau? Okay, we'll take these 2 units. They will charge down. We've got some Persian nobles here who we're going to sling down, if at all possible, and use our archers to deal with them. These 2 units can advance down here, try to get those missiles out of the way. We will redraw our spear lines in an attempt to force these cavalry to go all the way around our flank. The longer they have to go, the more missiles they will absorb, obviously. Okay, so our swords are doing pretty well. We've come around the flank and we're beginning to break some of their missile units. Actually, it looks to me as if their cavalry has readdressed their position. Okay, now they're charging directly into our spears. They're going to get on the flank here a little bit. We might be taking some casualties from our missiles, so we'll stop that shit. And man, we are beginning to deal some heavy blows to the enemy here. Our cavalry is pretty much gone, though, because of the... you know, they're just outmatched, that's all it is. We can redraw our missiles. We don't want them to fire at all, but oh man, our swords are really doing some work here. Looks like these Afar swordsmen are able to come fully around the flank, try to interfere with these missiles. We really need to get our spears down there, so we're going to take... Oh, who's rallied? Our cavalry? Yes, our desert raiders have rallied, and we can use them to disrupt the enemy missiles. Looks like we've begun to break all of these spears here, and our left flank is... Oh my word, we've really done some work here. Okay, so we'll grab our swords. We will consolidate, right? We just need to knock out that pagan band. So we'll wait until they break, and then we'll just draw a line. Our desert raiders are going to... Oh shit, we just need to intercept Ardashir here. We've got some desert spears involved. We've got some Afar swordsmen involved who will cut through... Not sure. No one. There's no viable target. So we'll grab our Afar swordsmen, redraw the line. Oh shit, here we go. These guys. These Armenian spears have reformed, so we can deal with them. Our spears are just fucking all over the place, so I have no solution for them, really. Looks like our skirmishers have broken, but we just need to come around the flank with Enbasa, or no, Letem 2.0. Okay, and our... Oh my god, our Afar swordsmen have just encircled these Armenian spears, making them wish they never were born. And now we need to intercept these legionaries. Can we possibly throw some missiles down on them before we engage? Can we? Yep. Boom. Okay, so at least one volley there. That's all we need. Stop that action. So we need to encircle these missile units. They're just going to throw missiles down on our infantry for as long as they can. We don't have any cavalry left to run them down. We don't want any spear units sitting around because we actually have missiles, cavalry still in the game. So we need to take care of them. And to do that, we'll bring our missiles forward. And actually, you know what? Shit, let's grab all of our spears and attempt to redraw a line here because we've got Khosrau still kicking it real. He's kicking it like a son of a bitch. And our swords as well need to be addressed. Oh shit, I forgot about these spears here, so we'll get some as far swordsmen. But we really need our missiles to interfere with these enemy missiles as well as the enemy cavalry. So we'll just micro some lines here. And we'll build some missile lines as well. Letem 2.0 has not lost a man. Okay, so here we go. Looks like Khosrau is committing to this assault here, so we'll just entrap him. Wonderful. Our 4 swordsmen, not doing much. Just keep moving. Keep moving, boys. I'll just group all of our missiles like so. They need to fire at these assholes. Looks like we've got some slingers on the flank that have begun to break. I just wish we had cavalry. That's all we need. Okay, we've won a victory, and we only lost 400 men, I would say, which is not too bad at all considering we killed 1,300. Well, I shouldn't say killed 1,300, but rather routed 1,300. We just don't have the cavalry to run down these missile units, so they're going to forever be kicking it out in the deserts of Adulis. At the very least, I think we destroyed a lot of the stronger units of Persia. We killed their cavalry. I don't know if they can replace that out here. I think we destroyed their Armenian spears and their onagers. They're going to have to rehire those mercenary onagers. I mean, yeah, overall that went okay. I would rather have just broken that army outright. I think we did actually annihilate one of those tiny little stacks, though. The one with the mercenary onager at the beginning. I think we've killed that noble. So that stack should be gone. Oh shit, look at this. They've only got 3 units of missiles left. So this is actually a pretty good victory. Oh no. So we actually did manage to kill Khosrau. But we did not kill whoever the fuck this is. So, yeah, I mean, it could have gone better. We'll just take on the warriors. So Khosrau has died. But this dude has not. It is Ardashir. Ardashir has survived, and now this army has no captain, or so no general rather. So it may be prudent to just march out, do a bit of auto-resolve, right? Because it's just missile units, we can auto-resolve. And we'll just do a balanced stance, I suppose. And there we go. We've killed the main army of the Persians. Hopefully we didn't take too many casualties. I wouldn't imagine so. 27, yeah, no. That was like nothing at all. And we will just kill the captives. Fuck it. There we go. We can probably do this army as well. Let's do it. It's just Ardashir and 11 other guys will be protective. He's gone. Hopefully we have movement points to get back to Adulis, because that would be pretty embarrassing if we didn't. There we go, another decisive victory. Kill those 10 dudes or whatever the hell it is. And we have annihilated yet another army. I think we're going to have to do a bit of forced marching just to get into Adulis. We don't want to be caught. We don't want to be cat out in the field because it might be a bit of a kick in the balls if perhaps bare-ass man was able to capture Adulis when we were asleep at the wheel there. But anyway, we've marched into Adulis, and we've annihilated a huge amount of Persians outside our walls, and now we can replenish to our heart's desire. It's wonderful. Now, Latem 2.0 has just... Oh my god, look at his wife. I don't know what it is, like with this band or whatever, but she kind of looked like a witch or something to me. I don't know. But she's political. She's got a huge amount of personal influence for herself and her husband. And look at that, negative 10% personal influence cost for her husband. That's wonderful. I think Latem 2.0 is going to be like a political powerhouse. Okay, buddy. He's just taken the reins of Eon's legacy, and already he's kicking it up a notch. He's turning it all the way to 11. We're going to put a point into Fearless Warrior to increase his zeal. That will increase integrity, and eventually it will also reduce the special ability cooldown, which would be wonderful. We'll put a point into Viceroy for the cunning, I suppose. Apparently he's a very smart man. He's just cunning as all hell. We'll probably want some points into Commander-in-Chief, I would think, for the campaign movement range, and probably Infantry Commander as well, I'm going to say. Yeah, I'm going to say Infantry Commander. There we go. And let's just fill his household so we can get... We'll give him an epic poet, because God knows he needs more influence. I do want to stack some influence on Latem 2.0 so that I can put him in a really good office, right? Like I want him as like Master of Infantry or something. We can also give him a stuffed enemy, just for the hell of it. And he too will take Pancratian gloves. So when he recruits some more units, as he will do eventually when he needs the cavalry, we can make it happen. Let's see. Do we need to repair anything? We'll have to repair our camel herd, as well as our hamlet for 62. Let's just repair everything because it's going to be cheap as hell. Apparently we can't repair the dock because we're poor as hell. That's what it is. Okay, so this has pretty much been our turn as Aksum. As I said, we've annihilated a bunch of Persians. We've cut back on Anbas's army to readdress, well, not so much readdress, but just kind of shuffle the gold around into Latem the First, into his navy, so that we can try to cut off reinforcements of the Persians. Not that that's been a big deal right now. We've really torn the Persians a new asshole so far in this war. As for our ally, the Eastern Romans, it looks like they're not doing so hot. Oh my word, Nicomedia has been captured by the Lakhmids, of all people. Parthia, and they also got Sinope as well. Parthia they have a few territories as well. Myra, Ankara. Man, the Eastern Romans are not doing well, like, at all. They do have Gorchina still. It looks like they've got some lands in Africa still, Northern Africa, but the Persians are pushing west, it seems. They've got Peritonium, which is a bit of an issue. But anyway, everyone, I thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying the campaign. It's a hell of a lot more interesting now that the Persians have declared war, and we're trying to fight tooth and nail for every inch. If you are liking the series, please leave a comment. Please leave a like. That would be wonderful. If you want to keep in touch with me, check me out on Facebook, Twitter. All the links to my social media is below. And you know what? I will see you guys yet again with another episode of our Axumite campaign next Monday.